for joining Series 4, Restorative Practices Made Simple, Families as Partners. Today's topic is Families as Partners, the power of parent and family engagement. So why do we say that? First of all, a child's first teacher are the parents or guardian. That's where they begin the whole process. Secondly, the families are an integral part of the education of a child at school. And last but not least, research shows that when students have parents or guardians involved in their education, they're more likely to be successful in life. So all this is bared out when we talk about families as partners in schools. Today's guest is Nataline Hall. Ms. Hall, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Dr. Lang. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Nataline Hall. I'm one of the district social workers for Robstown ISD. And my first year with the district, we started implementing restorative practices. And at the onset, we knew that it was a simple yet effective model that helped build relationships, and most importantly, with not only our students and our staff, but the parents of our students.
Wow, good job. So I love that you found that it was a simple tool, and it is simple, but it is very, very powerful. Once you get the hang of this, once you know what to do, this is a powerful tool. So what started you on this journey? What kicked off the power of parent and family engagement? What started it for you?
Yeah, so once our district started implementing, we were so excited to be a part of the restorative practice training and conference that was hosted by TEA. And so we were able to, through preparation and giving our parents education and literature about what we were utilizing as a district, saying, hey, now it's your turn. It's your turn to experience what your child is getting in the classroom. And it's your time, your opportunity to learn how you can take this back and utilize it in your home. So it really started at that point. And then through that experience, we recognized through parent feedback just how powerful it was, how much they were asking for it, and realized that, through every campus, there's a different need, there's a different culture. And being able to meet that need with restorative practices has just really allowed us to build those relationships, build those partners, but most importantly, meet our parents where they're at and give them the support that they need.
I love that. And I think that once you did this kickoff, I think the conference you're talking about is the one we had at the state level, the Restorative Practices Made Simple for Parents or something. It was a parent conference, and I knew you all were very involved in it. So at that time, you had parent liaisons. Tell us a little bit about how the parents got to be in that parent conference piece.
Yeah, so our staff, of course, including our parent liaisons, were already being trained in restorative practices. And so at that point, we just said, you know what, let's get our parents involved. And so that required us to prepare kits for them. This was in a virtual world. This was during COVID. And so we prepared kits with literatures on the three-legged stool, the respect agreement, everything that's available on the TEA website. We packed for them prior. And so prior to the virtual conference, they had already had the materials. And so during that day, we reviewed the materials. And then most importantly, after the conference, we piggybacked with them and said, hey, how was it? What did you use? What did you like about it? So that way we can continue that conversation with them, and they could allow us to get feedback on what they thought. And essentially that meant, hey, we need more, but there's also specific needs each campus has. So our parents are dealing with this right now. Can you come utilize restorative in that way? And then also just continuing, like, how do they take that back home?
Right. So what did you do? I mean, after the kickoff, you had all that happen at the kickoff. Did you then go to other schools? How did you continue to deliver the services?
Yeah, so we're very grateful that we work very closely with our parent and family liaisons. And so through their advocacy, they said, hey, this campus has had a lot of loss. This campus has had a lot of just things going on. And we recognize through our parent feedback when they're volunteering on our campus, they need an outlet. They need somewhere to have a safe space to share. And so we hosted specific circles for specific campuses. And so one of those was just really more of a support circle. It was like, how are you? Where are you at? Very open-ended questions. And it was through that I think they just kind of released, and shared information with each other about the dynamics of their home, financial strains, and allowed them to just build a different kind of relationship with each other. They may have been volunteering together, helping, make copies and decorate and, recruit other volunteers. But when they recognize, like, I'm also a grandparent raising a grandchild. I'm also a come from a two-parent household, but it's really stressful. Things have changed. And so just allowing them to know that whatever they're experiencing is real, but there's also somebody else that doesn't have the same experience, but is going through something as well.
So they found some common ground where they began to build those relationships.
Yeah. So we definitely allowed them to, not only know what's in the classroom, but also how that could bridge the gap between what the school community was offering, but what they could offer their child in their home as well.
Did they have anybody that tried anything like a respect agreement or iMessaging at home? Had you had any parents share anything with you?
Absolutely. So, of course, in the parent conference, we did talk about a respect agreement. And so we've had feedback where we said, you know what, Ms. Hall, we utilized that one pager. And while we didn't get it perfect, we still, as a family, have a united agreement or a united understanding that we're going to start working towards this. We're unfortunately not going to be perfect and abide by, but when we know we're not, we're going to hold each other accountable. And I think really it's the most powerful thing for the child, because they recognize that it's not, I'm your parent or guardian telling you this is what's going to happen. It's like, hey, you said you were going to do this too, and you didn't. And I get to not necessarily call you out, but say, hey, we're not perfect. And grandma or grandpa, this is also what is expected of you as well.
Yeah. And that respect agreement holds everyone accountable. If you say you're going to do something, you have to do it. And sometimes there'll be some oomph and slip ups, but you could always go back to it. You could always make sure you get back on track because it's right there for you. It's easy. Let's just look at it and see if we're on track again. And holding each other accountable, there's nothing wrong with that. Respectful accountability is always good. Nothing wrong with that. I really like that. So what has been the benefit to the parents and the students by, you having this statement of saying the power of parent and family engagement? What has been a benefit to the parents and the students?
I think the benefit is the power of trust that you get when you're in a safe space, the power of the relationship building that is occurring between everyone, the power of, like, we're working together to ensure that this student and this child's needs are met. This isn't one versus the other. This is what we're doing together because we are your team. We are essentially the people who are going to support you inside and outside of your home.
Very good. I love that. And do you think that those powerful things like trust, relationship building, community building, and being there for their children, do you think the children are real? Do you see any change in the children's attitude of the parents who are really there doing these things?
Absolutely. And I think too, going back to how we've utilized restorative and tier one specific for different needs is, mental health. We've had circles around mental health and the power that it's had for a parent to get through a sensitive topic that has a lot of stigma, and to understand through the conversations we had in that circle that, when my child's doing that, they're not being silly. They act like their feelings are real to them. These are symptoms of mental health. And so I think in that it allows the child to know that the parent really cares. We may not understand, but we honor what your story is and what you're saying that you feel is real. And I think when you start to have that same level of understanding, it allows even the child to feel that they can be the best versions of who they are or be honest about who they are.
Yeah, that's really good. Ms. Hall, I'm so sorry you got frozen there for a moment. And so now you have rejoined us on your cell phone, so it might look a little bit different to our viewers. So let's tie a bow around this. So if you could say one thing that is the power of parent and family engagement, what's your one thing that you said earlier? We were talking about that. If you could put a bow around it, what would it be?
I think the power of the relationships that you make when you're utilizing restorative practice, and the power of community building, and most importantly, the community building for the student and the child. The parent, like as you mentioned in the beginning, is their first teacher, but we are the teachers all day. And so when we have two of those organizations or groups that are doing the same thing, the child knows that they have the best support system available. And at the end of the day, all of what we do is to make sure our students feel supported.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ms. Hall, for being on the series with me today. I really appreciate you being here and going the extra mile and coming back on even when the internet froze. Thank you so much. Thank you for viewing Restorative Practices Made Simple, Series 4, The Power of Parent and Family Engagement. Until next time, keep listening and keep viewing.